So this video is going to be on social health. So that's the area of health that we're going to be focusing on, making sure that you guys know what it looks like to be healthy socially. So you all have your textbooks, and you know we have to reference them now, okay? So chapter 6 is where we're going to be doing most of the work from, and section 1 is of chapter 6 is what we are going to be focusing on. So that is about skills for healthy relationships. So within this section, there are 3 different areas that we're going to focus on when it comes to skills for healthy relationships. And this is really important because no matter what you decide to do after school, okay, no matter what profession, no matter what career you want, you will need these skills because you have to work with other people. So, skills for healthy relationships. The first area you're going to be focusing on and learning about is communication. And I know that most of you know how important communication is because when I asked you the question on the stream about what a healthy relationship looks like to you, most of you brought up communication. So, most of you have a general understanding that yes, communication is important, but you should know more about what constitutes good communication. Some of you may think that you're an effective communicator, but when you actually test yourself, you might see that there are still some areas that you need to improve on. So communication is super important for building a healthy relationship. So when we look at communication, there are a couple areas within communication that you're going to be focusing on. One of the things is iMessages. So iMessages are statements that you make where you start with I this or I that. So you're able to put your needs first, okay, in a way that is assertive. So you're going to learn about the different types of communication behaviors. There's aggressive, passive, and assertiveness. So someone that is aggressive can sometimes be confused with assertiveness, or assertiveness can be confused with aggressiveness. So someone who communicates with aggressive behaviors is someone who shows violence or can say a lot of derogatory things or can just speak in a way that puts someone else down. Okay, they're very negative individuals. That's different than assertiveness. Assertiveness is someone that can say no, can put themselves first, but is still respectful of the other person. They have boundaries, they have self-worth. So that's what we want to strive towards. Someone who's passive is neither aggressive or assertive. Someone who's passive is kind of like someone who is a pushover. So those individuals that kind of say yes to everything, don't know how to say no, that people can walk all over. So passive aggressive people that demonstrate those type of behaviors, that's also not effective when it comes to communication. The most effective one is assertiveness. And then you also have body language. So in one of my classes, when we talked about self-esteem, someone brought up that body language can show you if someone has high or low self-esteem. With communication, people speak with their bodies. So even if they're not saying anything, you can kind of tell what someone is feeling by looking at them and the body language that they're showing, or you can do the same thing. So even though you're not saying something, if you're angry, your body can show that off without you even communicating. So you want to make sure that when you're speaking, your body language matches what you're saying. And then you have active listening. So active listening is different than just listening, and you're going to learn about the characteristics that constitute active listening. So for example, someone who active listens is someone who makes eye contact when you speak. If you're practicing active listening, you're able to respond to what the person is saying and have a conversation that goes both ways. Someone who just listens probably only picks up on a couple things, doesn't really ask questions about what the person is saying, doesn't really engage with their eyes. So those are some of the differences between those two things. So those are the 4 main areas of communication. And then there are 2 other areas in this section that you're going to focus on, and that is cooperation and compromise. So you're going to learn why those 2 things are important for a relationship. So the first thing you're going to do is the vocabulary words. So the vocabulary words, the purpose of you doing those is so that you fully understand which terms are most important and you know what they mean. And then you're going to be doing questions in response to this section and what I'm talking about, okay? So some of the questions are related to the 4 most important types of communication, which we just talked about. And you're also going to be looking into active listening, how cooperation and compromise can strengthen a relationship, um, and in that way. So super, super important. Once you're done with those two things, you're also going to be doing two other activities. So you're going to test your communication skills and you're going to see if you actually are an effective communicator. So you're going to do that through a Google form. Um, and you're also going to be doing an activity on passive, aggressive, and assertive behaviors. So you can really understand those terms and understand the difference between all of those. So those are going to be the four things that you're going to be doing for this section and this area. So, like I said in the video, I typically give you guys around a week, which probably is around 2 classes, if we're looking at it that way, to complete some of these things. Because what I expect you to do is, first, I want you to take time to look at the PowerPoint, watch my video, read the chapters, okay? Just get acclimated with the information. Maybe work on the vocab words. Then on the other day when you're supposed to be having class or whatever works for you can work on doing questions. And then on the other day, you can do the effective communicator activity and so on. I also want to start posting more videos or articles on the stream and have you guys respond to questions. But it's super important that you guys respond. I need you guys to participate as much as possible. That will count as participation in the class because that's right now the best we can really do in regards to participation grades because we're online. Also, it's really helpful if you guys start engaging with each other so that you know and understand that you're not alone, okay? Your classmates are going through the same thing. They also have to study online. Maybe you'll find that someone else has the same struggles as you when it comes to doing these things. So, super important that you guys respond to any questions that I post on the stream, any videos, or any articles.